inputs and outputs, ways to read your tweets or to post a tweet or to upload a file to Dropbox or somewhere. And so just by kind of plugging in some of those inputs to, our AI, again, kind of powered by OpenAI, we hope to allow people to very easily kind of train a version of that language model to sound and do things in the way that they would want to. So you imagine you can kind of take all the tweets that you've made in the past or all the Facebook posts you've made in the past and kind of shovel that into the AI to help it kind of understand, okay, what does a good tweet in your voice look like or sound like? What are the types of words you use or don't use? And then that next tweet that it helps you generate ends up being much more personalized or much more like you. So I think that's something, this idea of like training the language model is really interesting. But I think, in the near term future, some of the most powerful things that AI can do are going to be much more personalized or tailored to you. So rather than, questions about, who's the best player in baseball or whatever it is, it's much more general. It's more like, what's the best restaurant I should go to, given all these factors, where I am now, what's on my calendar, who I'm going with, so on and so forth, what my tastes are. And for AI to be able to effectively answer any of those questions for you, it's got to have access. And really, and I think some of this it gets into some of the scarier aspects of it. We can talk ad nauseum about the dangers of AI in general, but I think it gets both dangerous and incredibly useful the more it knows about you and the more that it can kind of access in a very controlled way for the services that you're closest to. And so I think that's one of the things, if you think about our generalized inputs and outputs, we've even built a lot of products in the past that were really about essentially just turning on and off access. So rather than thinking about IFT as automation, think of IFT as really kind of like access to your other services in a universal way.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I got to ask, like, if you're training the AI to see all the tweets that you've done and then it's automatically tweeting for you as if it was you, so you're basically creating another version of yourself, or like replicating, kind of cloning yourself in terms of the form of somebody that's always on Twitter. How will that work? Like, in terms of the trust and the authority of following somebody that's you think is fascinating, like, for example, Naval, and going, oh, okay, did he actually write this, or was this his AI, if this and that? Like, how does that work? What is your thoughts on that?
It's really kind of crazy to think about how both screwed up things can get, but I think also how much better they could be. I think from a perspective where I think everybody then knows that what they're looking at or what they're reading could potentially be written by someone that isn't human, that isn't necessarily that real person. I think that will create the opportunity for us to actually solve that problem. And so I think what I'm saying is that for the last 5 or 6 years, we've already lived in that world, right? Like, there's already been this kind of fakery where people have ghostwriters, or they're basically using their personal brand or their name as the way to get content read or consumed that isn't actually generated by that person. And I think we've all kind of known that, but it's been, we haven't kind of had the high alert or kind of those filters engaged to allow us to actually make some of those decisions or kind of parse out what's real and what isn't. But like in a world where you could basically generate a full-on video of somebody saying anything and have it look exactly like a video of that person saying it in real life themselves, I think it will kind of blow the lid off a lot of that stuff and force us both as an industry, and hopefully there's probably lots of companies that can be started to solve this problem, to allow people to kind of have a lot more trust in what it is they're reading and not. And at the end of the day, I think it's also about the quality of the content. Do I if I enjoy reading something or if I'm getting some value from it, whether it's written by a human or a computer, like, does that matter? And I think that's the other kind of thing we'll have to grapple with, is especially when some of this content gets, I think it already is, right? Like, you can go ask ChatGPT today to write something about a topic, especially one you know nothing about, that's going to be way better than anything you could ever write about it. So we're already there. And the question is like, what's the kind of moral responsibility or ethical responsibility that we all have to make sure people aren't being fooled? And I think, part of getting to that answer is making sure everybody understands just to what degree the potential is there for them to be fooled. So it's definitely an optimistic view on it. But I think it's kind of a step that has to happen to get to the ultimate solution.
Hey Foundr fam, we hope that you loved that clip. If you did, you can click through right here to watch the full interview. You don't want to miss this one. See you there.